Hello, good morning everyone. We'll start the workshop like at 11:05.
Yes. So 11:05 we'll start. I will tell Johnson and Olister. Olister will start at 11:05. 11:05
Okay,
will
ma'am.
start. Yeah. Students, chalo, we'll begin the session now.
Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning everyone. Welcome to Reimagining Software brought to you by SFIT Alumni Association. SFIT Alumni Association is all about creating meaningful connections, sharing knowledge, and inspiring the next generation. Today's workshop focuses on one of the most transformative shifts in the tech world: how AI and cloud are changing the game. Why does this matter? Because the way we build, deploy, and scale software is evolving faster than ever. Cloud technologies have unlocked limitless possibilities, and AI is redefining how we solve problems, innovate, and even imagine the future of software. And to guide us through this journey, we have with us a very special guest from our own SFIT family, Mr. Olister Rumao, an SFIT alumnus, Microsoft certified trainer, and Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central certified consultant. Mr. Rumao brings not just the technical expertise, but also the inspiring story of moving from classrooms of SFIT to the front lines of cloud and AI. So let's get started. Please join us in warmly welcoming our speaker for the day, Mr. Olister Rumao.
Thank you, Shantala. Am I audible, first of all?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. So, good morning, everyone. And before we get started, I would like to request everyone to maybe grab something to eat and have a cup of coffee or something, so that whatever we are talking about, my my whole idea of this presentation is that I put in something in each of you um, through this presentation that will inspire you to uh, go through, revisit, and build something that will be of valuable to every one of us. Okay, so I'm here with my glass of coffee. Um, Please, you guys can also go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation. Okay, so let's get started. So today's topic for presentation is we are going to reimagine software development with cloud and AI. Now, pretty much, I mean, there's a fad that's going on when I was in SFIT. Things were like, oh, cloud is the latest one, and oh, we should pursue cloud. And the only thing that we were limited to knowing is, okay, there's some space somewhere with generally, like, things like you hear about is spas and SaaS. um, and those were the three concepts back when I started. um, Today it's not that. Today it's going to be like anything as a service. So for example, let's say you are doing a business online, okay, and you're offering that business as a service on the cloud. So one of the example for that is, maybe let's say you are a stockbroker and you're providing a stock broking service, and that too you're using the cloud. So that basically means that you're providing stockbroking services as a service on the cloud. Back in when we started with AI, so my first interaction with AI was maybe my final year software presentation or project. And as part of that, um, we used to think about, uh, okay, there's something called as neural networks, there's something called as AI models, but it was not quite advanced, and we could not, take off where we could now after a couple of years. Like I imagine, uh, I remember the time when I was making one such piece of software that was to do the optical character recognition for Devanagari characters. And I'm not saying it like out of the blue. You can go and find my project somewhere in the library. And I remember gathering the data, making the whole code for it. Took us more than a consistent time of 6 months. Okay, and it was not easy. But today, after a couple of years, when I'm doing it, I'm just doing my work in a minute, in few minutes, in like couple of clicks. So that's the scale where we are going at. um, that was back in 2017. Today we are at 2025, and that's what has changed within a span of 8 years. Okay, so let me go ahead and introduce myself. So I'm Olister Rumao. I am learned from the IT department in SFIT. Post my SFIT degree, uh, I am working with Archer Point by Cherry Beckett. It's a US based company, and I'm working as a Microsoft Dynamics 365 consultant. So Microsoft offers this software as a service, whereby you can make business applications, and the whole stack is called as Microsoft Dynamics 365. I'm also a certified trainer, and I'm a certified professional. um, and the most what do you say, thing that gets us closer is I'm an SFIT alumnus. You can connect with me on LinkedIn by scanning in the QR code, or if you want to reach out to me, these are my personal contact details. Okay, I'll just pause for a couple of seconds. So if anyone is scanning, maybe they are able to do it. Okay, let's move ahead. So today we are going to discuss about how we can use cloud and artificial intelligence, AI as the key baselines for us to do software development. Now, before we do that, you need to understand what all components are there as part of the cloud and AI. And the second thing that you need to know is how do I use it? And once you have used it, you have reached to a particular point in level. Is that all? I don't think so. There's something new that you need to, you need to build. So let's say you in the Stone Age era, when someone invented a wheel, did they stop with that? No, they moved ahead. They made it better. They turned it into a car or a bike, and today we are seeing electronic EVs and electronic vehicles, right? So things keep on moving ahead. Um, the goal of humanity is to reach to a point of efficiency and high performing, make high performing devices or high performing pieces of software, something that will make your life easier, right? So we develop process on top of this, and then we build automation with AI. Okay, so that's the agenda for today. So key technologies, I'm pretty sure you must have heard about at least two or three of these. um, I'm a bit from the Microsoft background, so that's why I favor Microsoft, because yeah, it's a force of habit. But at the same time, I also love open source. So which is why I'm trying to dive in and give as much as hands-on to people like you, to to inspire you to try something, to build something, and if nothing at all, at least you leave with the idea of, okay, there is something like this, and tomorrow when you are looking for jobs, or when you're working on something as a professional, you'll be able to recollect and reuse some of the things that we've built here, and succeed. Okay, so let's talk about the technologies. So the first thing that you see from the top left is Flask. Flask is a library, or is a framework that is built on top of um, Python, and it does, it does help you with building websites and web applications. So in couple of lines of code, you have a website that is ready, and something that can get you started. So when I started developing websites, maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, I started with installing um, particular servers like XAMPP servers, and setting up a PHP and database and stuff like that. With Flask, it is much more easier. You just write a couple of lines, and it takes care of things on its own. Um, the second one that you see is Azure OpenAI. So um, OpenAI is a company that is one of the company actually that develops AI models, chat models, even agents. And Azure is having the underlying infrastructure. So a combination of Microsoft Azure and OpenAI is called as Azure OpenAI. The third one that you see on the right hand side is the GitHub Copilot. So this is where the game begins. GitHub Copilot is, like, people think of it as a Autobot. It's not. It can be, but it has limitations. And today we are going to talk about how do we go about it. So let's say you're developing something in using GitHub Copilot, and you have certain issues. if you're facing a problem, how do we, how do we improve ourselves? Because today you're developing maybe code using you're typing some things, you're copy pasting the snippets here and there, and you're making the code. But tomorrow that's not going to be the case, and you'll see why as we go through the demo. So GitHub Copilot is pretty much, you ask it to do something, it will try and generate 90% of the code. Um, at least it will save you time on setting up certain things, uh, more than writing the core logic. And there's a way how in which we can get it to write the core logic. There are certain, like, obvious issues. Maybe I would say that it's not able to understand you better because it does not have the overall context. But with time it gets better. I started GitHub Copilot like around 3 to 4 months back, and today it's pretty much doing 90-95% of the things for me, saving me maybe easily. So in my development time of, let's say, if I have 10 hours worth of development, today I'm doing the development just for 1 hour, not more, and the remaining nine hours worth of work is done by the Copilot. So that's the power of Copilot. We have Docker containers. So what is Docker? So let's assume that you are a Windows user. Pretty much everyone is, and I want to build something that contains Linux and some forms of that. Now, traditionally, you would be required to install Linux. You need to install all the setups. You need to install um, all the required files, frameworks, things like that, to get to a point where you can get started with actually something. And with Docker, that's not like that. So let's say I want to build a web server using Linux, but I don't want to do all this headache, and I want to make the system as clean as possible. How do I do that? So Docker is a way to do. So what Docker will do is it will create a virtualization on top of your on top of your OS or your PC, and it will install only the required components that are there, needed for particular development or for particular purpose. Everyone has the ability to do that and build Docker. It's pretty much very easy. And once you're done with that, once you have tested, you have confirmed everything, you can just go ahead and deploy this to a cloud server. Like, let's say, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, wherever you're having, there is an obvious way of having um, a Docker hosting service from those providers. And once you do that, uh, pretty much all your applications start moving to the cloud. Okay, you don't need to do all these kind of mumbo jumbo and a hell lot of coding to do that. Docker does it for you. Sorry. Okay, let's continue. And then when we have Docker in place, one thing that you don't need to worry about is, okay, I am a Windows user, I am a Mac user, I am a Linux user, I'm XYZ user. Okay, pretty much Docker is a standardized version of the package that you're going to use. Okay, so all you need to do is install Docker in your system, and that's pretty much going to be available. And using Docker, you can spin up something, and that is very fast and easy to set up. The fifth thing that we are going to talk about is VS Code, and I'm focusing on VS Code only because I have used it for last 8 years. It has gone from very basic IDE to a very good level IDE, and which is very light and easy to use, and it's pretty much available on all three major platforms. Also, you can use it to some extent on remote. So for example, I don't need to download it. I can have a VS Code instance online on cloud for free, and I can do my development, and once I'm done with it, all I do is just close the tab and I'm done with it. And GitHub, Docker, Flask, OpenAI, all these integrate very tightly with VS Code. Okay, so you don't need to be worried about, oh, how do I do this integration? How do I set this up? No, not needed. VS Code does it all. The sixth technology that we am going to talk about is Copilot Studio. So with OpenAI um, releasing ChatGPT, I think maybe 1 or 2 years back, everyone started getting invested in that. And one of the efforts from Microsoft is Copilot Studio. So what it does is it lets you build agents, and these agents are basically nothing but automations. You provide it with some kind of knowledge, you provide it certain trigger parameters, and you give it what you want to do out of that. And it takes a couple of minutes to set up a Copilot. And once you're done with that, all you do is go ahead and publish it. So when you go ahead and publish it, you're pretty much ready with um, you're pretty much ready with the application that you want, and it's seamless and easy. And yeah, it's pretty much, pretty much very easy to set up. So I think I'm going to stop for a couple of minutes, not to bore you guys. And are there any questions so far? Maybe let's talk about that. Any questions?
So, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly relevant to this or not. I was recently trying out ROS, Robotic Operating System software, and to install that, I needed to install a Linux subsystem onto my laptop for it to actually work. So, while I was installing those, files and directories were not actually aligning with my laptop. So, as you informed right now, would it be wise to use a Docker to go through that, or
So you need to find out what you need as part of the robotic operating system. I believe it might have certain cross-platform libraries, like for example, ARM libraries, or basically ROS. ROS is basically an operating system that is built for robotic platforms and IoT devices. Um, it comes in wide variety. I don't think, like, there might be any issue trying it out, but where you might lead into issues is that if there are certain libraries that are not exactly compatible with uh, with pretty much general criteria of the major ecosystems like Windows or Linux or Mac, then you might end up being in trouble, because Docker is pretty much like, someone like you and I, we think that, okay, this is something that maybe people can use, and it has a common base to it, right? So if anything that is not compatible with ROS is not available, then you might land up in trouble, because then you won't have the Docker image for it. Okay, but you can give it a try, because since it's Linux, so there's a chance that you'll pretty much get away with what you want. I hope that answers your question.
yeah, sir? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, any more questions? Come on, guys. Okay, if not more, then we can get started with the demonstration. Okay, can you see my screen, just to confirm once more, since I went back? Hello, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. All right. So today I'll talk about two specific technologies. One is pretty much everyone knows about it. One is a closed source technology, and one is an open source technology. Um, Closed source, as in companies like Microsoft, Apple, or maybe like some more companies that are evolving like OpenAI, Anthropic, Perplexity. All these are like kind of closed source because they don't release their codes and models and things outside. But there is one other community which is the FOSS community or the open source community, and they are more about making codes and making it available to the public and making sure that everyone gets what they want from that. So I'm more into the closed source community, more because that's the ecosystem, and usually we don't conflict between closed source and open source. But today the idea is that since you're students, you might have troubles with closed source community, so we can work with open source community as well. And I'll give you a demonstration of all of these, and at the same time I'll give you certain tips so that you can get started with something. Okay, so let's start with the closed source part. So today I am starting with Microsoft 365. So pretty much the idea is, and this I have done it. I'm not paying a cent for this. I started with a trial. So all you need to do is search for Office 365 trial. Okay, and when you do that, you need to go for the specific one, sign up. Okay, so when you go for sign up, it will ask you for an email address. Oh, sorry, not this one. Okay, so it will ask you for an email address. All you need to do is start your free trial, key in your email address. Then it will ask you to create a new account. Go ahead and create it. There's just one catch with this. You might be needed to put a credit card number, just in case, to verify that you are a legitimate user or not, and there is no bot trying to do some sign up process. And once that is done, um, a specific, like 2 rupees from your credit card will be debited, and that will move into Microsoft account. But in couple of months you'll get those back as well. That's just a verification process. So that's how you do it. Now Microsoft 365 is the gateway to all Microsoft Dynamics 365, all the Microsoft products, and pretty much you're required that you create a Office 365 tenant. So tenant is nothing like, you can consider a big home, and in each of the homes you have multiple stories, multiple rooms in each of the stories, and in each of the rooms you can have a shelf or a cupboard or desk, whatever, right? So tenants are basically, let's say I have a home. Okay, and I'm sourcing a part of that story or first floor or second floor, whatever is available, to someone else. So those become my tenants. Okay, and home is basically the Microsoft ecosystem, and whatever you do inside each of the tenants is restricted to a particular tenant, right? So that's how Microsoft ecosystem is. So I'll show you how we can first log in. So all you need to do is just search for office.com. Okay, and once it will ask you for a login. So once you key that login in, so in this case I've made a trial for demo, and once you key that in and you log in, you'll get this Microsoft 365 Copilot. And in this, okay, so in this, so your tenant typically is this SFIT demo trial.on Microsoft.com. You can add as many users as you want, till there is a trial period going on. So and anyone can sign up for this. It's free. Okay, now once you're done with that, so earlier we used to get like things like apps like this. Okay, so you could see all list of apps, and you can do a lot of things. So this is just the office side. This is just like a primary side. But if you want to do lot more, there is the Dynamics 365 side. Okay, so So today we'll just focus on this side, the office side, and we'll go specifically into Copilot and Copilot Studio. Okay, so when I go into Copilot, so let's say, by the way, if you didn't know, I took the liberty to ask Copilot to build me this presentation. I did succeed with 50% of it, but not more, because it would try messing up things. And that's where the name Copilot comes in, because Copilot is not the pilot or the autopilot, but it's an assistant. It's not the replacement of you. Okay, so pretty much you can ask it for something. So can you help me draft policies for my software development team? Just do that.
Alexa,
Yeah.
uh, actually, we're not able to see your screen. We can see the
One moment.
presentation slide as demo.
One moment. I'll just reshare. Sorry, folks. I am not very good with Google Meet. So let me know if you can see my screen. Is my screen visible? Okay, perfect. Sorry, so where did you lose me? Till the trial? So all you need to do is search for a trial. Let me just reiterate that and sign up. You might be needed to put in a credit card, but that's for a short duration. And once you're done with the trial, you can just simply, you can simply let it go, and it will expire within a couple of months and it will go away. Okay, so you create a trial. Now in this case, after creating a trial, all you need to do is log in to office.com and you are landed up with this screen. Okay, and the first thing that you land up is the Copilot screen. So Microsoft wants you to use it so that you can work things better and faster, right? So in this case, I've just asked it a question: can you help me draft policies for my software development team? And it comes up with an answer. And then if I want to add, fine tune more, so can you add a bit about using source like Git? Okay, so now it will start making this things, okay, around Git setup and things like that. So this is the general Copilot, and by default you get okay, it's loading up. So by default you end up with getting like so many number of agents. Okay, so let's say I want to use this Copilot to learn something. Okay, I click on learning. Okay, and oh sorry, yeah, I'm restricted to this because of my organization, but maybe I'm just using writing. Yeah, I don't think this is going to allow me at the moment, but let's say I want to learn something about software development, and trust me, things I've not learned or things I did not understand back in my college days, I'm still searching for those, and I'm able to get the answers with Copilot. I mean, it's pretty much very good and very articulate about what things are there, right? So today we are going to create an agent. So I'll just show you how we create an agent in Microsoft. Okay, so all you need to do is, so it's going to ask you what kind of things you want to know, what you want to do, and maybe like there are certain things that you can use. And let's say I am building an agent to maybe like building an agent for my employees or my office colleagues, so that they can, if they have any questions, they can ask it to someone, okay, particularly AI. And it comes with certain ideas, and it comes with certain things like, okay, you're supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do this. Okay, so let's say agent to so I'm just putting it that I'll provide the knowledge source. Okay, now it takes a couple of minutes trying to figure out what you're trying to do. So it says that policy guide is maybe the right name. So I just say, okay, let's go ahead with it. Yeah. So now the agent is decided. Now we are trying to refine. So could you share any specific ways you want to, for example, certain questionnaires or certain guidance, and refer a link to policy document. So I did take some time to do some research on getting the policy document. So for example, in this case, I'm just taking a link and refer to the policies from link. I'm looking to, yeah, so right now it's adding to the knowledge source. Okay, and it says that so I'll ask it that I'm looking to give the link on Teams, or maybe I should write MS Teams. Anyone in help with will reach out. Okay, so as soon as I gave this, as soon as I gave what I want, it also came up with certain things. To share your origin. Yeah, okay, no problem. This is perfect. Now I'll just go ahead and I'll start testing over here. Okay, so this is what I wanted to do. This is where I tested, right? Now I'm going to ask what are my work timings and how much delay in arriving to the office is acceptable. Okay, pretty much everyone has this question. So it's going to process. Okay, so it's not able to find certain things. Let's see. Let's move ahead. So I'll go to configure now. I've created this knowledge base is added. Okay, maybe I'll just look up for, and I'm assuming that the office policy guide is created. Okay, so this is about the setup. Okay, I think this should be useful. I'll just copy this and I'll go into the chat, paste it. Okay, so it cannot go a little deeper. Okay, that's understandable. This is 3 levels deeper. Maybe I'll just say let's say I give it this source. And okay, can you help me figure out my work timings? Live in India. Yeah, so see over here. Based on the data that I have provided, it was able to, and then it gives me, so because it has the context of, I asked a question previously, right? So it says that a grace period of 10-15 minutes is acceptable, and repeated arrivals may be flagged, XYZ. Okay. Can you help me understand work ethics? So now it will go through, it will try to find out. Okay. So these are the main points that you need to understand. So pretty much this is the chatbot you have created, or this is the agent that you have created. Now once you have created this agent, you want to use that agent and you want to share it with certain team members, right? So what you end up doing is, okay, so as soon as I click on this, all I need to do is the agent is created, and it can ask them. So if I maybe like ask certain questions, okay, it will start giving me answer, and it knows that I'm from Virar, I live in Maharashtra, and this is what is acceptable. Okay, now I take this agent, just a second, where do I take this agent and I share. So let's say I want to share it with anyone in the organization, okay, or if I just want it for myself. So right now it is shared with anyone in the organization. I copy the link, okay, I go to Microsoft Teams, and this is my general group. Let's say I create an agent for maybe website. I policy guide. Okay, so I've added this agent and it comes over here, right? As soon as someone clicks on it, it opens this page. Oh, sorry, maybe the wrong one. Sorry, it chooses the other one. I don't know why. Okay, but it comes up with here. Now, and this is not just for you. So I have created a demo user. Okay, and that demo user, if I go to their Teams channel, I can see this policy guide here as well, right? So I can share my agent within the organization, right? Can you tell me what do I do if I mistakenly shared some confidential information? Okay, you see, it does understand what needs to be done. Now this is a bot. Okay, now assume that you would do this using a code. It would take you a couple of years, couple of months at least, to figure out what you need to do, what cannot be done. Okay, you can tweak this over here, right? So okay, I'll just close the window for this one. Now I'll just move ahead to over here. Okay, now I can do one more thing. If I want to make it bigger, I want to add certain flows, I want to add certain logics, I'll just go to Microsoft Copilot Studio. And here you will see the agents that you have. You can process more. You can add more logic. Okay. So here as well, I can create an agent. You'll get more control on what I'm trying to do. Okay. And maybe I'll just skip to configure. Okay. I'll just name it something and suggest prompts. So let's say sorry, I should be asking that here. So this is one of the policy. Now I can add knowledge. So as I said, website might not be coming at the moment, but I don't give it a minute. Okay, so I'm here. I am trying to I don't have the policy either. Okay. So let's say I'm trying to upload a file. Maybe I'll just download something from the company policy. Let's say this is the policy. I'm just download. Okay, it will ask me for something. So one moment. Let's see if we can figure this out quickly. Okay, no worries. I don't think I have the file at the moment, so maybe we can talk about something else. You can allow it to browse the web. So I just name the agent. Okay. Check if the question is personal and ask the user to refrain from okay. And then you can add you can add knowledge source. So in this case, okay, it does say it is coming soon, and I think it's doing something around here, but I'm pretty sure that this has been released, but for some reason it's not popping up for my domain. No worries. So let's do one thing. I'll just create the agent for now. I think our time is going faster than I anticipated. So yeah, so because I said that, ask about holidays, I can just, and it will give me certain context, right? So yeah, so in this case, we don't have any personal holiday details. So that's why it's in here. But if I say in India and I am making a calendar for my company, and then it will come up because I gave it to browse from the web, and then it will come up with that. But let's say if you don't want to do that, you can just disable it and it won't come with that details. Now these details are already loaded, so even if I turn it off, it to some context this response is getting stored, and all I have to do is publish it, and I can put it anywhere I want. Okay, so let's say I just put my name here and just to identify. Okay, and then yeah, so this will then be going on my Teams automatically, and I can come back again and I can do things like this. I can edit, I can modify some things as I want. Okay, so it's doing the publishing and it will take some time. I think we are running out of time, so I'll just switch over to a different demo for now, and let's come back and see. So now we are going to talk about the second set of demo, which is how do you do development with AI, right? So here I have created a simple project with a folder, and this is VS Code, by the way, if I've not used it before, and I've installed certain extensions, right? So in this case, if I filter installed ones, okay, there are certain extensions that I installed over here. I do have a Docker that is running, or that will be running in the background. So I'll just show you that as well, what a Docker is. So in Docker, we have things that are called as containers. So containers are the live versions of the code that are running. Okay, you have certain things called as images. So images are nothing but the base on which you're building. That's images. And pretty much it takes, like, by default it comes up with certain set of images. Okay, I did, so let's say I'm making a Flask, a Flask based development, and this is how I do it. I installed this GitHub Copilot. So if you can see over here, you'll see that GitHub Copilot is installed, and this is how it looks like. Okay, so can you create a hello world website using Flask? Now what matters is this model. Okay, if you go for a paid version, you will end up with Claude Sonnet 4 and stuff like that, or you'll get better models. But if you're just going for a free one, right? So now in this case, it will create a model for us, and this, using this model, whatever you query, it will work on that. So okay, so it says that, so right now this is blank. Okay, if I do create workspace, right, okay, now I've created the workspace for it. It will keep on adding things. Okay, if I look at this, and this is the main app, right? And inside this, if I run this, basically it will just say hello world, nothing else. So can you add a field to accept input, create a button that will reverse the string from the field and show as a pop-up. Okay, simple stuff. So now it goes ahead, it will take some time, right? And please understand that this is, I'm doing it in ask mode. If I do agent mode, okay, can you please read the existing code? Now this is where the fun starts. In the agent mode, it not only creates something, it also changes your files. So it's reading your files, it's processing your files, okay, and based on that, then it identifies that, okay, this is what I want to change. I don't want to change other set of things, right? And I will say that I would like to, okay, so it did something, right? It added a template, and in this template, it makes an index file. Okay, that's pretty much it did. It's working on something. So, okay, it added something here now. Let me just close this. Okay, now it says that I need to do execute this commands. So okay, that's fine. So I need to install certain dependencies. Let's say I click on terminal over here. It automatically puts in the code for me and it installs something. Okay, I'm assuming that this will be done for me. The same to Docker. Oh, sorry, I guess we didn't hit the enter, but it will do certain processing. So while it does something here, it is also figuring out my code. It's trying to generate something and it's giving you certain kind of output. So in this case, this setup is already done, so that's why it didn't take long. But now let's run this and let's see what happens. Okay, so there was an error here, which is acceptable. Maybe let's do something else. So I'm just going into that folder and I'm going to say Python. Oh, sorry. src. Okay, so right now it says that okay, there are some issues with this, but let's say it will create a Docker file. Okay, so it gives you pretty much the comprehensive idea of what we're trying to do. Now I'm going to try and put this into Docker. So it's building the Docker. So whatever we have built for now, so it will take a couple of minutes. And if I go to my Docker, okay, so I don't, okay, so see how it created this image automatically, and probably it will even launch a container. So the Docker image is connected. Now I have to run this Docker image. Seems like it is facing some issues because I have already tried, so maybe it's trying to overlap. Yeah, because the app is running, so let's see. Okay, so it did create the containers, okay, but it couldn't start. Okay, let's see if any one of these does. No, it does not. And what's the time? I think we are going above the time, so that's, yeah, maybe like within next 5 minutes I'll try and wind up this. But I did try something earlier and maybe I can show you that. Not this. Flask Docker demo. Okay, and looks like in the containers this has started. So if I go into containers, it will give me the URL. Right now it's not doing anything. So I just suggest, can you read the errors? Build a basic. I think this issue happened because I ran it in this Python 3 virtual environment mode. So yeah, continue. So it's building the container. Oh, sorry, building the image. And now let's see what it does. Yeah, it fails miserably. So this can happen. But I think with time it will get better because it does not have the idea. So I'll just show you what I did for a different project. Okay. So what I did was I just gave it the same set of instructions, just similar one. Okay, create a simple website to accept input, click button, display a response, making the using and deploy this to Docker. Create Docker image and run a container for okay, so it will do something. Okay, so there should be something running on Docker by now. Yeah, this one. This is what we tried. Yep, okay, we got there. So yeah, so in this case, let's say I'm just putting test and it gave the reverse of what I wanted. Okay, now right now I also asked it to upload, put a tic-tac-toe game in between just to see who would win. And if you're trying something, okay, yeah. So this is pretty much how it works in terms of development. Now I'll just take up the old project and I'll ask it maybe like a okay. So while this is happening, I'll temporarily switch over to Docker just to avoid clashing with certain things. So I'll just go ahead and delete these containers. Okay, and okay, okay. So we were here. And by the way, this also suggests that you can make certain test scripts. Okay, so it will run through that. It can fail, but pretty much, let's say if you're building it from scratch, it will take you a couple of hours versus now doing it in a couple of minutes. Okay, so it's doing something. Okay, now note that it's asking you at every step of the way what you need to do. You need to provide certain details and maybe click on certain steps. So I'm not going to do this because I know that this will land me up in trouble with Docker. So I'll just go ahead and I'll say rebuild the file. And I've deleted the Docker container. I've deleted the Docker container just to make sure that things are not going weird. Okay, all right. So it's building the Docker container. Okay, so please know that I don't know how to make a Docker container by myself. Like I have worked with it extensively, and I have, but building it from scratch it can be scary. So, but in this case, it's able to do that, and see how it's setting things up. Okay, continue. So let's see, by now, is the Docker container ready? Okay, it did create the container. Let's wait for VS Code to finish up. Okay, I'll just hold it for here because it will keep on doing this again and again. So I'm just going to go here back and relaunch. Yeah, so see how it gave this, which was not there previously. Okay, so I gave that. Okay, and I just click on this and it will turn it around. Okay, and maybe like it is doing something that, and it says that, okay, so this is also done. It changes this, and you saw it right in front of your eyes, how long it took to build something like this. Now, you have to be patient with this. You have to understand its patterns to go ahead. Let's see what happened with the Copilot. Oh, looks like I closed it all together. So I'm just going to send a new file. Okay. So the Copilot got deployed. It asks for a link. I'll just create and just verify how it looks like. Okay. Give it a minute. Okay, so I've created this agent. Okay, I just want to add it, and it will come here in my list of agents that I can use. Okay, since we are running out of time, so I'll have to move ahead, but I am open to any questions, or if you guys have more time, we can. So see over here, new agent has come up. Um, Still misspelled it, but that's okay. Okay, so it does end up giving me something, right? Okay, all right, so let's switch over to the presentation. So I hope you learned something from today's session. I wanted to cover more grounds with you and talk about your experience as well. But if you have any more questions, feedbacks, we are now open to questions. So please feel free to ask your questions, and I'll switch over to the to Google Meet. Any questions so far?
Please raise your hand if you want to ask any question. Student, kindly raise your hand if you want to ask any question. Or you can put the question in the chat box also if you're having some problem with your audio. Okay, I have a question, Olister. In this world of ChatGPT, Copilot, so what do you feel? What our students should prepare for their internships and placement? What
Um,
skill?
so I would definitely suggest that I mean you can as a student who is looking for job or internship, focus more on getting used to this AI models, not necessarily like go with Google or Microsoft or something else. I would suggest that take one model and every day this model updates. So there's a disadvantage that maybe you have taught something uh, today to, let's say, Claude model 4, and when Claude model 5 comes out, you get obsolete. But focus on making prompts better, focus on asking questions. So let's say you don't know how to articulate your questions or make things better, ask the model, it will give you certain suggestions. And I personally have gained a lot of experience with this, like what I showed you with VS Code and things like that. I use it in my day-to-day work. um, I would recommend that students should focus on getting more exposure to these agents, to these models, so that they can apply their work. Because today if you look at conventional development, that's getting obsolete, and when it gets obsolete, um, there's a pretty much a very good chance that you won't land up with jobs or internships. So focus on models, focus on getting yourself better with models. It's okay if you develop some things here and there in between, but the end goal is to get your task done and get it done as soon as possible, as efficiently as possible. And if companies see that in you, that's a key thing to move forward. I hope that answers the question, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Okay, I request all the students, if possible, to kindly switch on your camera for a photo. For the photo, I request my team members to please take the photo. Who is responsible for taking the photo? Kindly take the photo. Kathleen and team, kindly take the photo. Students are requested to switch on the
Yes,
camera.
ma'am. We will be doing it after the vote. Yeah, okay.
Okay, okay, fine, fine, fine. Okay.
As we come to the close of today's session, let's take a moment to thank everyone who made reimagining software a success. First and foremost, our deepest gratitude to Mr. Olister Rumao. Your insights on cloud and AI, combined with your inspiring journey from SFIT to becoming a Microsoft certified professional, have been truly eye opening. The clarity, vision, and practical knowledge that you shared will stay with us long after this session. Also, a special thanks to the SFIT Alumni Association team for coordinating this workshop and making it possible. And finally, to all our participants, your energy and involvement brought this workshop to life. It is your enthusiasm that makes such initiatives meaningful. Also, please do not forget to fill out the feedback form. Submission is necessary in order to receive your e-certificates. And also for attendance, kindly type SFITAA in the chat box or in the comment section of the YouTube. We request everyone to switch on your cameras so we can capture the moment and feature it on our Instagram story. Okay, I mean, I would like everyone to switch on their cameras. We would like to take a photo. Okay, with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you once again, and we look forward to everyone. We look forward to seeing you everyone at the next SFIT Alumni Association event. Until then, keep learning, keep innovating, and keep reimagining software. Thank you.
Olister, thanks a lot for your valuable time and guidance.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all for your for listening with interest and asking questions. I would like to connect with each of you if you have certain questions or certain specific things that you need help with, feel free to reach out. My contact details, I'll just put it in the chat as well. And yeah, I think that's all. Thank you all for even organizing the meeting. So thank you to the organizing team as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Olister.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Yeah, same to you. Bye.
Bye.